The South has corners so stunning they look pricey, yet some of them still let regular people breathe financially. Imagine you are choosing between two lives, one where you stare at a parking lot and pay a premium for it, and another where you stare at water or mountains and still have money left for living. Which one sounds like the smarter deal? Across the southern states, there are places with long sunny stretches, rich culture, and neighborhoods that feel like community again, not just an address. What makes these cities special is not only scenery, it is the way the scenery fits into your daily routine. You are not scheduling beauty for the weekend. You are stepping into it after work on a random Tuesday or on a calm Saturday morning. And yes, affordability matters here because a beautiful place is not truly beautiful if it keeps you stressed. So we are counting down 10 southern cities where the view is real, the lifestyle is comfortable, and the price tag is not trying to steal your peace. As we move from 10th to 1st, the places get more iconic, the experiences get richer, and the wait, I did not expect that moments show up more often. You will hear about cool mountain towns, river cities with flavor, coastal gems with history, and polished communities that feel like a storybook. Let me ask you something before we begin. Are you searching for a place to visit or a place to actually live? Because the best choices are not always the loudest or most famous. Sometimes they are the ones quietly improving your daily life behind the scenes. 10th, Bluefield, West Virginia. Bluefield is for anyone who has ever loved Southern hospitality but wished the summer air felt a little kinder. Sitting in Appalachian elevation, this city often stays cooler than nearby regions, and that alone can change your whole mood. What would you do with more evenings outside instead of hiding indoors until sunset? Bluefield turns nice weather from a rare moment into a regular feature. Bluefield's day-to-day life is simple in a way that feels rare now. You can grab breakfast at a local diner, run errands without gridlock, and still have time for a late afternoon drive that looks like a calendar photo. On summer nights, community baseball and local gatherings become the kind of entertainment that costs little but feels huge. And if you love quiet hobbies, gardening, reading on a porch, photographing misty hills, this town supports them naturally. The town is not huge, which is part of the charm. You are looking at a community of roughly 9,800 people, small enough that faces become familiar quickly, but active enough that you do not feel cut off from the world. And the city has personality. Locals love the nickname tied to its cooler summers, and there is even a playful tradition of passing out lemonade if the heat ever spikes high enough. That kind of quirk tells you something. This place enjoys being itself. Now, affordability. Bluefield is one of those towns where the housing numbers can make you pause and reread the listing. Median prices have hovered near $120,000, which feels almost unreal next to a national median that has floated above $400,000 in many recent years. Think about the difference that creates. A payment that is smaller does not just save money, it gives you options. It gives you room for travel, savings, hobbies, and yes, the occasional splurge without guilt. The scenery is not a background, it is the main character. Forested hills roll outward in every direction, and even a short drive can deliver overlooks, trailheads, and quiet fishing spots. Outdoor lovers have easy access to hikes and scenic roads that feel like they should be on a postcard rack. And community life still feels old school in a comforting way. Local games, neighbors chatting, and small events that actually bring people together instead of scattering them. There is also a youthful thread running through the city thanks to its university presence, which keeps a steady stream of events, performances, and campus energy. And when winter arrives, Bluefield often shifts into a snow-dusted scene that makes the town feel cozy and cinematic. Would you enjoy a place where life slows down on purpose and the view stays beautiful in every season? If that idea is tempting, stay with me because the ninth city is a completely different surprise and it comes with rockets. Ninth, Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville is the city that rewrites people's assumptions. It is known for aerospace and engineering, with major space and defense work that gives the local economy a strong backbone. But the shock is how livable it feels while all that innovation is happening. Can a city be future-focused without feeling cold or corporate? Huntsville shows it can. One reason Huntsville feels fun, not just productive, is that it shares its science identity in public. You can visit rocket displays, hands-on museums, and space-themed attractions that make a random afternoon feel like a field trip. Then you step outside and remember you still live in a place with normal neighborhoods, parks, and family-friendly spots. That mix keeps Huntsville from feeling one note. Do you like cities that give you smart entertainment without feeling like a tourist trap every weekend? Let's talk scale. Huntsville has grown into a community of roughly 225,000 people, big enough to offer real amenities, yet small enough to keep a sense of neighborhood. And opportunity is a real theme here. Rankings have praised Huntsville for quality of life and job strength, and unemployment has often been low compared with many metro areas. The result is a city with confidence. New restaurants open, new neighborhoods develop, and people move in because the work is real. Now here's the part that makes people lean in. The cost of living has often stayed more reasonable than you would expect from a city with this kind of economic power. Housing prices have climbed, as they have almost everywhere, but Huntsville has still tended to sit below many national benchmarks. Would you rather chase a job market where your pay disappears into rent, or choose a place where your paycheck has room to breathe? That question is why Huntsville keeps landing on best places lists. The setting adds balance. The city sits near Appalachian foothills, so nature is close enough to become routine. You can hike at a nearby state park, spend an afternoon at a lake, or take a long walk on greenways that weave through town. And if you like gardens, trails, and scenic overlooks, you will not have to drive far to find them. The city also invests in parks and public spaces, which is an underrated quality of life flex. Downtown brings personality. Art events, food truck gatherings, festivals, and live music keep the calendar busy. The city has a craft brewery scene, a growing restaurant culture, and enough weekend activity that you can always find something to do without fighting megacity crowds. Families appreciate the schools and the university pipeline. Young professionals like the career momentum. Retirees like the comfort and services. Who says you cannot have ambition and ease in the same place? In Baton Rouge, purple and gold are not decorations, they are declarations. Pride lives on front lawns, in stadium echoes, and in everyday conversation. It binds the city through traditions that feel earned, not performed. And then there's the food, Louisiana's most convincing storyteller. In Baton Rouge, cooking is memory with heat. Jambalaya carries generations in a single pot, stews deepen with patience, and seafood arrives coated in spice and history. Even an ordinary Tuesday can feel like an event. Culture fills the spaces between meals. Museums preserve the past, music keeps it breathing, and festivals turn weekends into shared experiences. Here, plans do not need to be complicated. Eat something unforgettable, then listen to something unforgettable. Now the scenery shifts. The seventh choice moves from river current to ocean breeze. Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington is shaped by water on both sides, and you feel it in the light, the air, and the pace of the streets. Imagine a weekend where sunrise happens over sand, not traffic. In Wilmington, that is routine. This city offers the coast without demanding excess. Paddle through quiet waterways, watch dolphins roll just beyond the pier, or bike through trails that wind past lakes and parks. Its long relationship with film adds a subtle thrill. Corners of town feel ready for a camera, and locals trade production stories like legends. With a population near 120 months, Wilmington lands between energy and ease. It has enough movement to stay interesting and enough calm to stay livable. Beaches are close enough for evening walks, while the riverfront offers a slower kind of beauty, restaurants glowing beside still water. Housing reflects its shoreline reality. Prices sit in the upper $300,000, which sounds high until compared to coastal cities where entry doubles. Would you rather buy proximity to water in a place that still feels grounded, or pay more for a famous name? Wilmington quietly wins that question. Downtown ties everything together. A river walk links cafes, murals, seafood kitchens, and music into a single corridor of activity. Film and television have given the city a sense of presentation. It knows how to show itself well. A university keeps the atmosphere young, and a strong healthcare system supports long-term life, not just vacations. Outdoor living stretches beyond the beach. Trails, lakes, and parks shape daily routines, and the climate leaves little excuse to stay inside. Morning waves, afternoon wandering, evening dining. One day can hold all three. And if that feels appealing, the next city leans fully into atmosphere. Savannah, Georgia. Savannah does not rush its beauty. Moss drapes from oak branches like curtains, and historic squares open like quiet rooms within the city. The streets invite walking, not hurrying. Do you like places where scenery does not shout but still stays with you? Public spaces here feel personal. Lawns become meeting places, reading corners, and picnic grounds. Art arrives in unexpected forms: pop-up markets, student exhibits, and murals that keep the city feeling awake. Because so much of Savannah is walkable, daily life becomes part of the scenery. And then there are the trees. Towering oaks reach outward while Spanish moss softens their edges, giving the city its dreamlike calm. Savannah does not just offer views, it offers a feeling. The architecture matches the mood. Historic homes, preserved buildings, and streets with a sense of continuity that many modern cities lack. But Savannah is not trapped in the past. It has a creative engine, fueled by a major art and design community that keeps galleries, murals, and public art alive. The city feels historic and youthful at the same time. Housing has been around the low 300s and thousands for the median, which can feel surprisingly accessible given how iconic Savannah looks and feels. Compare that to many comparable coastal or historic markets where prices jump far higher, and Savannah starts to look even smarter. Would you rather spend more to live somewhere nice or spend less to live somewhere that feels genuinely beautiful and culturally alive? Savannah makes that a real question. Festivals add sparkle. Music events, film celebrations, and art gatherings keep the calendar full. And food is part of the personality. You can get classic Southern comfort, excellent seafood, and modern takes that still respect tradition. The city also benefits from being close to coastal escapes, so you can grab an island breeze when you want it without living in a beach-only bubble. Imagine a daily routine where your morning includes a quiet square and your evening includes live music on a porch-lit street. If you like that picture, the fifth pick shifts the scenery to the mountains and the energy changes again. Fifth, Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville is not just a city, it is an identity. People move here because they want mountain beauty, creative energy, and a lifestyle that feels active and expressive. Have you ever wanted a place where your weekend can be a hike, your night can be live music, and your neighbors actually talk to you? Asheville is built for that blend. Asheville is full of sensory details: the smell of mountain rain, the sound of instruments drifting down a street, the taste of something locally made that you cannot find anywhere else. Even a quick drive can put you on a scenic parkway that feels like a moving painting, and small overlooks become your reset button after a long week. The community attracts people who enjoy conversation, creativity, and the outdoors, so it can be easier to find your circle. The Blue Ridge Mountains give Asheville its signature look. Scenic drives roll past overlooks that change color with the seasons, and fall foliage turns the region into a famous spectacle. Many people visit once and immediately understand why residents stay. Housing has risen here, with median prices around the mid-400s and thousands in some recent snapshots, but people often say the real value is access to the lifestyle: trails, parks, and fresh air that feels like a reset button. Downtown is eclectic. Street performers, local markets, independent shops, and restaurants with personality make it feel handmade, not mass-produced. The craft culture is strong, especially in brewing, and the city has built a reputation for having a lot of breweries per person. That tells you something about the vibe. People here like community gathering spaces and local flavor. Add the presence of a famous historic estate nearby, and you get a mix of quirky modern culture and old-world grandeur. The arts are everywhere. From an arts district filled with studios to live bluegrass spilling out of venues, Asheville keeps creativity visible. Festivals celebrate music, dance, and cultural variety, turning ordinary weekends into something bigger. And the outdoor options are ridiculous: rivers for paddling, forests for hiking, trails for biking, waterfalls for chasing, all within a short drive. Would you thrive in a place where getting outside is not a plan? It is just what people do. If that sounds like you, the fourth city adds coastal elegance and deep history, with postcard streets you can actually walk. Fourth, Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston feels timeless the moment you arrive. The streets, the colors, the waterfront light, it all creates an atmosphere that looks curated, yet it is simply the city being itself. Can you picture a place where your casual afternoon walk feels like a travel highlight? Charleston makes that normal. Charleston's waterfront moments are a big reason people fall in love. You can watch boats slide past old walls, sit with ocean air drifting in, and feel like you are living inside a painting. The city also shines in spring when arts events and food gatherings bring locals into the streets. Because the historic core is so walkable, your daily exercise can be simply exploring. Would you rather drive everywhere or live where strolling is the lifestyle? This is a city where history is not tucked away. It is on display in the built environment. Cobblestone streets, historic homes, and preserved neighborhoods create the feeling of stepping into a different era. Rainbow-colored row houses and grand gardens turn ordinary blocks into landmarks. But Charleston is not a historical reenactment. It has modern energy, with restaurants that draw national attention, an art scene that keeps events flowing, and a coastal lifestyle that stays close at hand. Housing can be higher here, with median prices around the 500s and thousands in many recent looks. That is not small money, but people compare it to other high-status coastal cities, where similar beauty can cost far more, and they decide Charleston is still worth the trade. Would you rather pay double in a place that feels crowded and chaotic, or pay less for beauty with a slower rhythm? That is the Charleston calculation. Beaches are part of the lifestyle too. You can reach sandy escapes for a quick reset, and the warm climate supports outdoor living for much of the year. Festivals and cultural events bring international art, music, and theater into the city, making the calendar feel rich instead of repetitive. And the food scene is a full experience. Coastal flavors, southern traditions, and meals that feel like celebrations, even when it is just a random Thursday. Can you imagine living in a place that feels both refined and relaxed? If yes, the third pick takes you even deeper into history, where centuries sit right beside the ocean. Third, St. Augustine, Florida. St. Augustine feels like walking into a story that began hundreds of years ago and never stopped. Founded in the 1500s, it carries a deep historical identity, yet it stays lively, colorful, and surprisingly cozy. Do you like towns where a simple stroll feels like an adventure? St. Augustine makes wandering the main attraction. Living here can feel like you are constantly one step away from something interesting. Street performers, hidden courtyards, small museums, and water views show up when you least expect them. The beaches nearby are not just for visitors. Locals treat them like a regular escape, especially at sunrise and during cooler evenings. The blend of history and nature makes the city feel like two lifestyles in one. If you had to pick one daily ritual, would you choose old streets or ocean sunrises? The historic district is packed with narrow lanes, shops, cafes, and galleries. A fortress built from stone stands near the bay, reminding you that this place once had to defend itself in a very different world. Nearby pedestrian streets stay busy with performers and local artisans, and the whole area feels like it has its own energy. But the city is not only about the past, it is also about the coastline, with miles of Atlantic beaches and state parks that offer sun, surf, and outdoor space. Sunshine is a huge part of the quality of life here. With more than 220 sunny days a year, your plans are less likely to be canceled by endless gray. Would your mood improve if bright weather was the default? Most people find the answer is yes, and they start living outside more often. Housing has been around the low 400s and thousands for the median in many snapshots, which can be surprisingly reasonable when you consider the coastal setting and the historic character. Compare it with ultra-expensive beach markets where similar charm can push far higher, and St. Augustine starts to look like a smart compromise. Food adds to the appeal with fresh seafood, Spanish-influenced flavors, and cozy spots that feel special without trying too hard. And during the holiday season, the city often glows with light displays that pull people out of their homes just to walk and smile. If you want a coastal town where history and laid-back living share the same streets, St. Augustine is hard to ignore. Now we are down to the final two. Second place is a storybook town near a major music scene, known for charm, schools, and a polished feel. First place is a Gulf Coast city with bright beaches and serious culture. Which one wins for you? Let's head to second, where people move for the vibe and stay for the quality. Second, Franklin, Tennessee. Franklin feels like the southern ideal of small-town charm, but it is not sleepy. It sits about 20 miles south of Nashville, which means you can live in a calmer setting while staying close to big city entertainment. Would you like to have peace at home and still be near concerts on the weekend? Franklin makes that feel easy. Franklin wins people over with its easy-to-belong vibe. Community markets and local shows make it simple to meet neighbors, and the town feels well kept without feeling snobby. On the edges, the scenery turns pastoral. Rolling hills, farms, and horse country create countryside calm, while you stay close to modern services. And when you want bigger excitement, the nearby city makes it effortless. Does that balance sound like home? The downtown district is the heart of the town. Tree-lined streets, preserved buildings, and a walkable core filled with boutiques, antique shops, cafes, and live music give Franklin a warm, welcoming personality. The vibe often feels like a community gathering, not just commerce. The area also takes its history seriously, with Civil War sites and preserved landmarks that keep the past visible. History buffs love that, but even if you are not a history person, you can still feel the depth in the streets and the care in the preservation. Now, yes, housing can be expensive. Median home prices have been around $700,000 in many recent looks. That can sound shocking until you compare it with many luxury suburbs near major cities where similar homes can climb past 1 million. Franklin's price is often seen as paying for a strong package: safety, top-rated schools, and a stable local economy. Would you rather spend less and worry more, or spend more and feel settled? Franklin is the town for people who value stability as a lifestyle. Culture stays active too. Festivals bring music, food, and community energy into the streets, and the nearby Nashville influence means the region has a steady creative pulse. Outdoor lovers also get options. Scenic parkways, trails, and local parks provide places to bike, hike, and breathe, while the rolling hills and horse farms create a beautiful backdrop. Imagine having a picture-perfect downtown for your daily routine and a major entertainment hub close enough for spontaneous nights out. Now let's finish on the coast, because the #1 pick is where beach beauty meets serious culture. First, Sarasota, Florida. Sarasota is the kind of place that makes people talk in a softer voice, like they do not want to break the spell. White sand beaches, glowing Gulf water, and a refined cultural scene combine into a lifestyle that feels relaxed but not boring. What if your home base felt like a resort, but still worked for real life? Sarasota sells that dream convincingly. Sarasota's mood is relaxed but intentional. You can dress casual, live near the water, and still have access to galleries, performances, and curated experiences that give your week's variety. Nature here is not only beaches. You can spot birds, glide through calm waters in a kayak, or drive into protected landscapes that feel far from city life. That balance is why people stay. It feels like you can recharge and still stay stimulated. The beach scene here is famous, especially the barrier islands with sand that stays bright and cool feeling even under strong sun. The water often looks unreal in the best way, and sunsets can stop your conversation mid-sentence. But Sarasota earns the top spot because it offers more than the shoreline. The city has a reputation as a cultural center with opera, ballet, and museums that keep the arts visible and accessible. Would you expect a beach town to also deliver world-class creative energy? Here it does. Downtown keeps the lifestyle social. Farmers markets, waterfront dining, craft breweries, and parks along the bay turn ordinary weekends into mini events. Nature lovers get options beyond the beach as well, with nearby preserves and river areas that offer kayaking, birdwatching, and trails through surprisingly wild landscapes. Healthcare in the area is also a major draw, especially for people planning long-term, because peace of mind matters as much as scenery. Housing costs here can be higher, with median prices around the low 500s and thousands in many recent looks. But when you compare Sarasota to other prestige beach markets where prices can climb far higher, it can feel like a slice of luxury without the absolute top-tier price. And the region often sees around 250 sunny days a year, which means the outdoor lifestyle is not a rare treat. It is the default. So here is the bigger lesson. The South is not one story. It is mountains, rivers, beaches, and historic streets. And the right choice depends on what you want your ordinary days to feel like. Do you want cooler summers and mountain views? Do you want ocean mornings and a river walk? Do you want historic charm or modern opportunity? Once you know that, you can stop chasing hype and start choosing what fits you. Take a second and picture a normal weekday there. Grocery run, evening walk, a neighbor wave, and a view that calms you down. That is the real test for you. If this list sparked a new idea, tell me in the comments which city surprised you most and why. And if you want more countdowns like this, more places that are gorgeous, livable, and worth considering, please hit like and subscribe to my channel so you do not miss the next video. Because the smartest move is often the quiet one you make before everyone else discovers the same gem.